What is going on with Tennessee law enforcement? On June 25, 2024, Chattanooga Police Chief Celeste Murphy was indicted with 17 counts, stemming from applications for her Tennessee driver's license and voter registration. The community was shocked and upset. In support of Celeste Murphy and the community, a group of clergy members led by Reverend Reed held a press conference at the Hamilton County Chattanooga Courts building.
This attempt to discredit an African-American woman in leadership reeks of petty partisan politics with dangerous outcomes if applied uniformly.
You see all these people here today standing in front of my office. Let me tell you what's interesting. I haven't heard from one of them. I haven't got a text message. I haven't got a phone call. They haven't shown up at my office before today.
Pastor Reed touted a 90% homicide closure rate under Murphy's leadership,
far surpassing the national average.
But last year, Wamp said 77% of homicides in Chattanooga claimed the lives of black men, women, and children.
Of all of those that were cleared, which we know that rate is high, every single one was a black perpetrator. I don't recall a press conference speaking out against those killers.
Chief Murphy, who joined our community with high hopes a few years ago, has faced resistance and hostility from some quarters almost immediately from the start of her historic appointment.
Looking back over Murphy's career in Chattanooga, speculation emerged when the TBI opened a case against her, questioning her place of residency.
In March, when this controversy began, a city spokesperson says the city auditor found allegations about Chief Murphy's residence to be unsubstantiated.
Where the auditor looked into her residency and he issued a report that she was legal within the rules of the city. It is interesting that he released an opinion that said she's perfectly compliant with the Chattanooga law, but now she's been indicted by a district attorney that says she's not.
Mayor Kelly acknowledged Murphy's contributions to the city. He says under her leadership, crime in Chattanooga decreased, and the homicide closure rate is now at 90%, which is twice the national average.
It seems that the mayor, along with the community that elected him, was happy with the performance of Police Chief Murphy.
What I have found is that not only do you have to hear what they say, but you also have to hear what they don't say.
That's right.
You have to pay attention if you're going to lead and shepherd God's people.
DA Wamp said of all those that were cleared, every single one was a black perpetrator. She continues on to call them killers. Is she referring to cases that lacked probable cause and therefore were not sent to the DA's office to prosecute? The word perpetrator means someone guilty of a crime. She goes on to call them killers. She insinuates that they were cleared because of their color, but yet the crime rate dropped. How does that happen if killers are being set free? DA Wamp's statement sounds a lot like a civil rights confession. Does she consider every suspect guilty, especially if the person is African American? How many people has she wrongly prosecuted and forced into plea deals or worse? Why would she even make this statement when the subject is Chief Murphy's arrest over her driver's license application? Did we just hear the real reason Chief Murphy's career was destroyed? Reverend Reed was spot on when he said the Murphy arrest reeks of petty, partisan politics. It sounds like Chief Murphy wasn't participating in the state's corrupt justice system and it cost her a career.
I am not up for re-election next year. I don't care about your politics.
DA Wamp doesn't care about your politics. But her politics is what protects her as she tramples under rights, such as due process and equal treatment. Can you imagine placing the Independent Civil Rights Commission under the control of the same office this lady works for? Well, believe it or not, that's actually happening right now.
Can you explain to us why you think that the Human Rights Commission should be placed under the Attorney General's office when the Attorney General has shown time and time again that he is hostile to civil and human rights?
There is a pattern of this behavior in Tennessee, and we have the proof. You are about to see the massive difference in treatment of two separate law enforcement leaders. You are also about to see how the Tennessee government treats its people. Just 90 miles north, it's easy to see what happens when corrupt law enforcement and the state's attorneys conspire against the people. Just like the good Reverend said. Let's go and hear what they don't say, in Knoxville, Tennessee. A continuous problem in Knoxville is the concealment of law enforcement body-worn cameras and refusal to release footage. A recent event that gained attention involved Mr. Bain Greenidge, who was working as a Starbucks manager. Knox County Sheriff deputies swarmed his location after a customer's domestic disturbance incident that had occurred somewhere else. When Bain Greenidge asked what was going on, he was shocked by a stun gun and beaten. He was arrested and the body cam footage was concealed. After public outrage and demands from State Representative McKenzie, the DA dropped the charges. An internal investigation was opened which became the new reason for the body cam footage not being released to the public.
I've always been wary of the police, just because of all the instances that have taken place in the past, like the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all of those instances have made me very wary of the police. I try not to move in a manner that would suggest that I'm a threat or that, I am being threatening in any way. As a black man, you need to be overly cautious that and for fellows whose voices are deeper than mine, I'm sure it's a little worse for them. I'm not too hopeful there's going to be much change that takes place. I mean, the internal investigation is great, it's a start. But for real change to take place, the county and the cities, as well as the state, needs to be the ones to take accountability.
Yassine was arrested for trespassing on the University of Tennessee campus.
Yassine's Falafel House. Yassine Taru has been released from jail and charged with criminal trespassing. The popular restaurant owner was one of 11 people arrested last night after refusing to leave the UT Knoxville campus as part of a Nakba Day vigil. Now, Nakba Day, which is on May 15th, focuses on the permanent displacement of a majority of the Palestinian people in the late 1940s. Taru, as many of you know, is a local Syrian refugee restaurant owner and U.S. citizen. In 2014, he opened Yassine's Falafel House in downtown Knoxville as an inclusive place for all people. He was recognized for his good deeds by Reader's Digest, and ABC's Good Morning America named his restaurant the nicest place in America. Taru has received numerous awards and honors and has performed countless acts of philanthropy and service to the Marble City. We spoke with him following his release from jail.
Yes, you maybe not agree with Palestinian. You maybe you want more war and more weapons to be sent to kill more kids and women. I don't know how you can do that, but in the same time you have to worry about your first right. You probably now in where you can speak whatever you want, but just wait till you say something doesn't fit with other organization and they start attacking you. So if you don't stand up for other people's right, it's gonna come the time for you when you need people to stand for your right.
He was shocked that he was arrested. Taru is a UT Board of Visitors member in the Religion Studies Department.
After landing in Knoxville and having a medical episode at the airport, Lisa died when she was denied medical care and arrested.
Breaking news, the family of Lisa Edwards, the woman who died while in police custody, now suing the city of Knoxville, Fort Sanders Regional, and Covenant Health for her death.
4 police officers were named in the suit: Brandon Wardlaw, Adam Barnett, Timothy DeStasio, and Danny Dugan. In the suit, there are a total of 18 counts, including violation of the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act, negligence, injury resulting in death, and wrongful death. Lisa Edwards was told to leave Fort Sanders Medical Center, and when she did not, police arrived.
Edwards would later become unresponsive in the backseat of a police cruiser and eventually die. Her death was ruled a stroke by the medical examiner.
3 of the 4 officers who were on the scene were disciplined. Chief Paul Noel called the incident an embarrassment.
There are hundreds of pages of records and interview transcripts in this document. One of the biggest takeaways, investigators say throughout the course of their interviews, not one of them expressly stated any sympathy regarding Miss Edwards' death. They wrote the way officers spoke to Lisa Edwards showed disregard for her human dignity and life.
Listen to me. This is the Lord's Day. All I want to do is give you some coffee and some oatmeal. I'm not going to deal with your mess this morning.
66, can you be in route to 41?
Yeah, Gloria. I don't know if she's faking it or what, but she's not answering me. I don't know if she's faking it or what, but she's not answering.
Ricky Lewis was denied medical treatment and died in jail.
Master Crow Code Blue release letter. I know the responsibility.
When somebody talks to you, it's a good idea to answer.
Hold your head up.
You make like that?
Thank you.
There we go.
Really?
So I think he's just messing with us.
Yeah, he is.
This sounds awesome. Come on, man. Stand up for me since you want to play games. Walk. Now, come this way. Since you want to act up, just walk for me. You go in there.
The family of Ricky Lewis was left distraught after seeing his last moments on Earth at the hands of the KCSO. Ricky's daughter, Jennifer, has sued the Knox County Sheriff's Office and its jailers over the treatment of her father at the jail, which ended in his death. The Knox County Sheriff's Office said it would stack immigrants like Cordwood in jail for profit and deportation.
Not only will I not rescind the current contract with the 287G, but I will sign the renewal each time it is up as long as I am Sheriff of Knox County.
Knox County paid the mother of Jonathan $750,000 for his death after he was beaten and hogtied by the KCSO.
New at 6, a lawsuit filed after a man dies in Knox County Sheriff's Office custody. That lawsuit comes with pictures, stills from body cam footage showing Jonathan Binkley hogtied.
David Hayes was retaliated against for his presence at a public meeting. Attendees at Friday's meeting, including Knoxville city leaders, said they were stunned when deputies accosted Hayes as he stepped outside the meeting about the city's search for a new police chief.
Can you breathe? David, are you okay? Can you breathe? He's struggling to breathe. He's struggling to breathe. Say something, David. He can't breathe.
A young lady and her 2 dogs were asleep in her bedroom when awoken by the Knox County Sheriff's Office kicking in the door of her residence without a warrant. She was partially clothed when they handcuffed her and shot her dogs while she begged them not to. 2 of the officers were not certified by the state of Tennessee to perform police work. The Sheriff's Office continues to lie about the presence of body-worn cameras.
I shouted out to her to please not shoot our dogs. She just looked at me and she shot him right in the chest. I saw the blood squirt out of his chest when she shot him. I was so focused on Rocky at that point in time that I didn't realize that Maddie had tried to run, and she shot her too. I was begging the guy who was pulling me to please let me go be with Maddie, and he said no. It looked like she was breathing at first and she was like shaking, and I was begging to just be like, let me tell her I love her, let me tell her I'm so sorry, just let me be with her for a second. And He told me no. He said that was just the body reacting and told them to take me back downstairs.
That same day, the Knox County Sheriff's Office performed a very aggressive raid on a metal recycling business warehouse. That day was a major turning point in more ways than anyone expected. There were 2 camera systems in the business warehouse. The primary DVR system was disabled, but there were backup cameras that were not very noticeable. They recorded throughout the day and captured some very incriminating footage of the Knox County Sheriff's Office doing some very bad things. Several hours into the raid, one of the cameras was discovered, but it was already too late for the KCSO. The camera had already recorded an event earlier that day that shows how the Knox County Sheriff's Office executes a search warrant and conducts an investigation. This was a major break that would lead to a long list of crimes identified for the Sheriff's Office and result in an ongoing cover-up 3 years later. A pattern of law enforcement crime is now documented that shows falsifications, pretense, illegal seizure, and plea bargain coercion. That's the nice way to say what we have hard evidence and surprise witnesses for.
I could have gone all day long. Okay.
Let me get it. You guys are all decked out and stuff. Let me.
Yeah, that one. See if we're ready for Marcus.
Yes,
good job. Jerry's on. Is after that? They equally Mark, so we're good.
The defendants had already been charged and arrested. The case immediately went into cover-up mode. Body cameras were, and continue to be, lied about. For the past 3 years, the case has been mostly stagnant. However, during that time, there has been a lot of private investigative work focused on the KCSO and this case. That work has produced indisputable evidence of state and federal felonies committed by the Sheriff's Office personnel along with Sheriff Tom Spangler himself. Sworn affidavits by victims and witnesses of KCSO crimes were filed with the court as a judicial notice and are public record. They include evidence for crimes such as falsification of government documents, aggravated perjury, and impersonation of police officers. A good summary would be an ongoing conspiracy to obstruct justice by concealment, through falsification of material facts and exculpatory evidence, while in contempt of court. The sworn affidavits are available for review at legalmisconduct.org. Many state employees and government officials have been made aware of these crimes and choose to do nothing. Failure to act is also a crime. It's called misprision of felony. U.S. House of Representative Tim Burchett's office said it was a Knox County issue, and that is where it would have to be handled, even though Knox County, the court and district attorney were the ones committing the acts. By then, the first Knoxville News-Sentinel Sunday feature about this case had already been published. It detailed the lack of post-certification for Jerry Glenn, along with the lack of his body camera footage of the commando-style raid. This is one of the events listed in the sworn affidavits with indisputable proof involving multiple deputies. The Tennessee statute for failure to comply with Tennessee post-certification requirements lists a Class A misdemeanor for the sheriff and the same for the person who pays the salaries. Each deputy would be guilty of criminal impersonation. The Post Commission is responsible for oversight and enforcement of these laws. Sheriff Tom Spangler is a Post Commission member appointed by the governor. Are you starting to get the picture? And this is just the beginning. Remember this guy, Eric Edlin? He's clearly wearing a body camera in this security video. We'll get into that "does it name the sheriff" comment later. That has to do with Spangler's re-election campaign. Well, it turns out that Eric Edlin was not post-certified to perform police work either. And yeah, there's that body cam that didn't exist, right there on the front page of the News-Sentinel. But that doesn't matter. It's just a figment of our imagination. What could possibly be on Edlin's body cam that Sheriff Spangler would want to hide? The Knoxville News-Sentinel dedicated a Sunday, front-page spread to the subject on April 14, 2024. There must be something really bad on those body cams. And yeah, we know. Introducing Butch Bryant. He's a veteran Knox County Sheriff's Office attorney well known for falsifying government documents. His license was suspended for 6 months as punishment for document misrepresentations at the KCSO back in 2008, and we have very solid proof that he falsified at least 2 filed government documents recently. And these are the serious kind that involve violations of constitutional rights, not the driver's license application sort of thing. All of these crimes have been reported to all of these Tennessee government officials, yet none of them will do anything about it. The differences in treatment between Sheriff Spangler and Chief Murphy are obvious. The absolute disregard for we the people and our constitutional rights is very visible. It's clear that Tennessee is overrun with corrupt officials and there is no oversight or accountability.
Let me help you with this. It's one thing to have vision, and it's another thing to have clarity. Vision is being able to see something. Clarity is knowing what you're looking at.